Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. Today, for your viewing pleasure, we have a highly unusual battle from incoming here in the French Tier 9 medium tank. We'll talk about that in a moment. The Batchat 25T AP. Medium tank. Really? Technically, yes. This tank has light tank speed, light tank maneuverability, light tank armour. Well, it doesn't even have light tank armour. In places the armour on this machine is as thick as a whole 30mm. But it does have medium tank concealment. So, yeah. It's got an autoloader though. Actually, it has a choice of autoloaders, two 90mm and one 100mm, which is the one that you can see incoming using here. And on paper, it's a very impressive autoloader with the potential burst damage output of 1800 damage. However, in practice, because it takes 2.73 seconds between each shot fired, if you were to sit still for nearly 14 seconds, the length of time that it would take for you to pump out all 6 of those shots, you would die. And you would pretty much have to sit still in order to try to hit with all 6 of those shots, because the tank's accuracy is terrible and the aiming time is atrocious. So if you're moving around, you're basically going to miss. Good luck sitting still in a tier 9 or 10 battle for nearly 14 seconds while getting shot at in a tank that only at best has 30mm of armour. Try it if you must, but I really would not recommend it. And even if you do get lucky and somehow manage to do 1800 damage because every shot that you fire hits and penetrates, and you don't get obliterated by return fire in the process, you have to sit around 44 seconds waiting for all 6 shots to reload. This is the machine that replaced the Lorraine 40T, which was a far better tank in my opinion, which is probably why they reintroduced it as a premium. Just to put things into some sort of perspective for you, this French Tier 9 medium tank actually has worse damage per minute and worse armour than the actual French Tier 9 light tank, the AMX 1390. And the AMX 1390 also has better concealment. The mobility is on par between the two tanks, but in just about every other respect, the light tank is actually far better than the medium. And when I say that the two tanks are similar in terms of mobility, well, the Batchat does have a maximum top speed 1 km/h faster and does have better ground resistance on hard terrain, but other than that, even in mobility, it's inferior to the AMX 1390. It's just an all-round, not particularly good tank. And of course, because it has that oscillating turret, it has abysmally bad 6 degrees of gun depression. So, working a ridgeline like this can be extremely hazardous to your health. Fortunately, it is at least a very small target, so you are able to take advantage of the kind of bushes for concealment that would not be big enough to conceal most other medium tanks. But, well, we're really kind of stretching to find good things to say about this tank at this point. Now, as for the actual battle that incoming here is engaged in, you may very well be sitting there thinking, well, what's the big deal here, Jingles? There's not an awful lot happened. And you're absolutely correct. This was a very slow start. But I did say at the beginning of the video that this was an extremely unusual battle. You're just going to have to trust your Uncle Jingles. And one of the unusual things about this battle, but not the most unusual thing about this battle, is the fact that incoming is actually going to get the opportunity to put that full 1800 potential burst damage to use. He's caught this Object 268V4 sideways on, he's ensured that he stays immobilised, and he's managed to pump all 6 shots. And there he is, he's up to over 1800 damage. Now that is not the kind of opportunity that comes along very often in this machine, and if you intend to do even moderately well in the Batchat 25T AP, you need to be doing everything that you can to make these kind of opportunities happen. And this literally was the gold standard for this machine. He was able to get in, empty his magazine, nobody was able to return fire at him, and he was able to get out and wait out that atrociously long 44-second reload, again without taking any damage. This is pretty much the Goldilocks zone for this tank. That kind of situation definitely does not happen in every battle. In fact, when you're playing this tank, it probably doesn't happen every week. But then again, you can't take a joke. You shouldn't be playing the Batchat 25T AP. Okay, he's reloaded. He has a couple of shots available at the T-44 out there. From a position of relative safety, he's not visible through these bushes, although it shouldn't be too difficult for anybody to guess where the shots are coming from. Risks a couple of blind shots, don't know if they hit. 2 shots left. And unfortunately, his lousy gun depression means that he's not able to actually get the gun barrel pointed at the target. Anything else he can expend those 2 shots on? Or is he going to have to go for a reload? And that, of course, is one of the critical skills that people often find so hard to master in French autoloaders, knowing when to go for the reload. His team are starting to crumble around him, and there's not an awful lot he can do with 2 shots, so he's decided to go for the reload. Which of course means he's almost completely useless for the next 44 seconds. Hopefully, the team can hold it together for that length of time. Notice the handbrake turn there as he reverses in towards his target, primed for a quick getaway should it be necessary. At this point, with the team losing 4 kills to 9, it's not looking too good. I mean, French autoloaders, oh dear, 4 kills to 10. French autoloaders are more dangerous. 5 kills to 11 as the battle goes on, particularly if they can keep all of their health intact. Because even though this is a tier 10 battle, and the enemy tanks therefore have correspondingly higher health pools, oh dear, it's not looking good at all, is it? The ability to knock out enemy tanks on low health quickly is exactly the sort of thing that these tanks excel at, and is what makes them so dangerous the longer a battle takes. But there's a definite hard limit to just exactly what you can achieve when you're outnumbered more than 3 to 1, regardless of how much damage you're theoretically capable of pushing out in a relatively short space of time. And don't forget, even if the stars and planets all line up in the correct positions, he gets himself into that Goldilocks zone and is able to surprise and ambush 2, 3, maybe even 4 enemy tanks all on low health, and kill them all without getting knocked out in return. And he's going for the ISU 152K, who's pinned down the Panther 88 on the other side of the wrecked ship, and he's got him. Nice. And he's going for the reload. You see, that's the issue. I mean, he managed to take out 1 enemy tank destroyer. He did it to try and take the pressure off the Panther 88 and keep one of his only 2 surviving teammates alive, but well, the Panther 88 is now dead too. And ironically, despite taking out an extremely dangerous enemy tank destroyer, he's now actually in a worse position than he was just a couple of seconds ago, because now he's outnumbered 4 to 1, and the enemy team are capping. There's practically 0 chance that he's going to be able to make it back to the cap circle and do something about it. The ground between here and there is going to be covered by numerous enemy guns. He's just been spotted by the enemy artillery, and there's a GSOR chasing him down. 1 shot, managed to score a hit. 2nd shot, again a hit. The 1st shot from somebody misses. He takes a hit from the GSOR, his gun is damaged, uses the repair kit, fires blind, kills him. Got 1 shot left for the artillery, fires on the move, and by some miracle actually manages to hit him, but now he's the last tank left alive on his team. He's outnumbered 7 to 1. The enemy team have almost finished capping. There is no way he's going to be able to prevent that from happening, and he still has to wait 44 seconds before he's even capable of defending himself once again. Let's face it, there's no way on earth he is ever going to be able to turn this around, and the enemy team have in fact capped. So why am I showing you this today? What was the point of this? Because it's a pretty miserable defeat. I mean, he's in a tier 9 medium tank that isn't even as good as the tier 9 light tank of the same nation, and yet Incoming was absolutely delighted with the results of this battle, although he didn't realise it until after he'd gone through the post-battle screens. And he wasn't delighted because he got tank sniper and high caliber. Doing 5,000 damage and getting the high caliber award on your team is actually not good. It's an indication of just how shit your team was. I mean, look at this. An entire third of his team, including a T110E3, failed to do even a single point of damage between them. It's not difficult to get the high caliber award when that's your team. So while Incoming was despondently flicking through these post-battle results screens, it was on his return to the garage when another message popped up that made it all worthwhile. Medium Tank Mission 15 for the Object 260 requires that you inflict 3,500 points of damage on enemy tank destroyers. Do you remember the GSOR that he finished off with 2 blind shots towards the end of the battle? That was him inflicting 3,517 damage on tank destroyers, which means that Medium Tank Mission 15 for the Object 260 is now complete, and he's one step closer. What is basically a premium Tier 10 IS-7, except it's faster, it has better gun handling, and it's got better armour penetration on its standard ammunition. There's an old expression in the English language: every cloud has a silver lining. It is, of course, mindlessly optimistic bullshit. Most of the time when things are shitty, they're just shitty. But every now and then, it is nice to know that despite the shitty battle you just suffered through in World of Tanks, occasionally it's worth it. Well done, Incoming. Congratulations on getting your mission complete for the Object 260. Everybody else, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I'm not going to pretend that it's somehow inspired you. I mean, I'd like to think so, but we all know the reality. Nevertheless, I do hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.